Well, I did an interview with Marvelous. This was before the fucking pedo shit. And bro pretty much went in on the Jesus Christ figure. He said that it was
Caesar Borgia,
an individual by the name of Caesar Borgia, who he said was a homosexual, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
Do the Hebrew Israelites subscribe to that?
Yeah. So when you do the history, during the Renaissance, when that portrait was painted and propagated throughout the world, what was happening, you had artists like Leonardo da Vinci, and what they would do was they would use people to pose for portraits of historical figures. So that was very common in the Renaissance. So Caesar Borgia was actually the Pope's son, Alexander VI. It was his son. And he posed for that portrait, and then that was taken and propagated throughout the earth. And when you read about the Borgias, and especially him, he was one of the worst type of pieces of shit you could ever imagine.
What do you mean?
As far as homosexuality, pedophilia,
he was actually
incest,
like a homo.
He was into all forms of sexual debauchery, and he was murderous and all those various things. So, he was a companion not only of Leonardo da Vinci, but of Machiavelli, right? So, when Pac got the Machiavelli album, when he's on the cross, Machiavelli wrote a book called The Prince about Caesar Borgia. You see what I'm saying? Who posed for Christ. So I think that Pac was playing off of, after he got information about that, the false image of Christ. I think he played off of that, which was inspiration for the album art for the Machiavelli album. But Caesar Borgia, definitely very wicked and evil person, and it don't even take too much research to find out. Yeah, this is the guy who posed for Jesus Christ that we all know, have learned to love, got pictures of him in our house, got tattoos of him, etc. Sure.
Do you think our people, blacks, Hispanics, natives, will ever get to a point where they stop following Christianity and Catholicism and start following Hebrew Israelites? Or do you feel like they just been indoctrinated for so long that it's just?
I think what's going to happen eventually is there's going to be a portion of us that do. It's never going to be the majority. But when that portion of us do come on the right accord with the Most High, that there's going to trigger events in this world that's going to lead to salvation. And when that salvation occurs, we're going to represent the totality of our people, those of us who repented. So at that point and from that point forward, it is going to be all of us. But until then, it's only going to be a portion of us that really get on point.
Will the people who don't, will the blacks, Hispanics, and natives who don't follow the ways of the Hebrew Israelite, when Yeshua comes back, will they be saved at all because of who they are, or not at all?
No, they won't be saved at all. So those of us who are still conformed to the ways of the oppressor or the ways of America or whatever like that, when that judgment comes on this place, they're gonna fall with that judgment.
So what happens? Because earlier you had brought up reincarnation, right? Let's say you come back reincarnated. Is there a possibility you don't follow the ways of an Israelite? And then what happens there? Because in your past life you were, but now you ain't.
Well, in that case, the scriptures say that everybody stays in their lot, right? So if you're made to be the righteous, you're always going to be the righteous. Now, also you got to endure to the end. So right now, I'm living my life right. I can fall off tomorrow. If I fall off tomorrow, it's like me undoing any of the good that I did. So then that would disqualify me. You see what I'm saying? So it just kind of depends on the specific individuals that the Most High God have chosen to be a part of that elite group of the elite. We're the chosen people, but there's a chosen of the chosen. And that's what we're trying to become now through living according to the word and teaching our people to do the same.
What do you think is needed right now the most in black, Hispanic, and native communities right now?
Love. Love of ourselves and love of each other. I think that's what's going to answer all the problems, and that's what Jesus said. He said, the two greatest commandments is love God, with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. I think that is the fundamental problem with us, is we don't love ourselves. We don't love God, ourselves, and each other. That's it.
There's a popular saying in Mexican communities that a Mexican's worst enemy is another Mexican, right? And in the black community, I hear that often too, that the blacks, they always try to, it's like a crab in the bucket mentality, right?
Yeah.
Do you subscribe to that theory at all?
1000%. If we just take a look at it, we here in South Central LA, man, SA is the number one killer of SAs. Crips is the number one killer of Crips. That tell you what it is right there. We killing each other, we tearing each other down, we backbiting each other. It's us. It's always we are the ones that tear ourselves down. So that's why love is the answer. And how love is defined scripturally with the law, statute, commandments, with the rules that the Most High set out, it's literally just an explanation of what love looks like. And Christ simplified it with like doing to others. You wouldn't want somebody to steal from you, so you don't steal from other people. That goes to the law, thou shalt not steal. You wouldn't want somebody to sleep with your woman, don't sleep with other people's women. That goes into thou shalt not commit adultery. So when you see that the words love or do unto others, those are simplifications of all of the rules that God laid out of, hey, don't do this to other people, to your brother especially, and it won't happen to you, and everybody will be able to focus and live harmoniously. But because we don't have those rules and regulations established, we're not living according to that, we're destroyed right now. And all we're doing is truthfully hating ourselves, hating each other.
Shit, this is a trip because right now you're spreading love, bro. You're saying our people need love, but it kind of seems like on the internet, it's a lot of propaganda saying that you guys are a lot about hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're out here spreading love.
Yeah.
You feel like you misunderstood?
Yeah, for sure. I think people, kind of sensationalize like a lot of the more radical video clips because, there is definitely radical, revolutionary ideology that we have for sure.
And those are for sure the clips that go viral.
Those are the clips that go viral.
Yeah.
But when we just showing love, people don't want to see that.
People don't care about that.
They don't care about the positivity. So that's why it's so necessary, like for interviews like this to exist, so people can truly understand, like, nah, what we're about, number one, is loving our people. Like, that's the number one thing to me, period. And from a child, like from when I was young, if I saw something like on the TV of a tragedy striking, black people or in Haiti or in Latin America, from when I was a kid, I felt that in my soul, like sad about it. I didn't necessarily feel like that about everybody else, but for some reason, like this particular group of people, I always had an inclination towards. So then I get introduced to this information like, well, this is all the Israelites and boom, boom. And even like my pops instilled it in me, like, really blacks, Latinos, we're really all the same. He would always tell me. So I believed that, but I didn't. Once I found this information, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So to me, that's my whole driving force is loving us. That's it. It's not about, it's definitely like, especially I got this advantage now living in Atlanta. I'm not even dealing with white people like that, like to where I have to have any hostility or any negative engagements. I'm literally only dealing with our people. So because of that, we're able to spread love. And sometimes we have debates, but even in a debate, it's still ultimately about love. We're trying to get people to see what the scriptures are actually saying. We're not trying to tear them down or tell them, oh, you're going to hell, because people have this idea that we're telling people they're going to hell, which we don't, but love. That's what this whole movement is about. Love. That's it.
I got a question, because our people, the Mayans and Aztecs, before they were conquered, right? They would practice astrology, right? How do you feel about astrology and numerology? Does that hold weight to you at all or no?
I think astrology is wrong. But what I know is that what the scriptures say about the tribes of Issachar and Zebulun having an ability in understanding the celestial body's movements, right? It says that the tribe of Issachar and Zebulun had understanding of the times. So the Aztecs and the Mayans are supposed to have an understanding of what's going on with the sun, moon, and stars, and be able to look at those things and be able to get messages from that. I wouldn't necessarily call that astrology like a zodiac sign. I would call that more so astronomy and the study of those things and understanding that you guys have a gift from God and the ability to read the sun, moon, and stars. So I would say that they was on point for that, and that's why their calendrical system has proven the test of time.
So even though that holds weight, and you had said earlier how a Santeria holds weight, why do you refrain from practicing that if you know that actually can come to fruition?
Well, I don't have a problem with observance of the celestial movements, right? The astrological or astronomical movements. I don't have a problem with that, because even like our whole calendar, I gotta create a calendar every year for our high holy days and things like that. I have to look at the astronomical movements for that. So I wouldn't say I necessarily stay away from that like I do Santeria. Definitely not. But I don't in the same token, I don't like believe because they say I'm a Scorpio that my personality is explained. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That I stay away from. But as far as what the actual movements are telling us, I don't have a problem with that at all. You see what I'm saying? Especially for the the descendants of the Mayans and Aztecs, because the scriptures tell us these people were going to have that ability.
Have I asked you if white people can be saved?
Yes, you did.
And they can't.
They cannot.
So they're doomed.
They're doomed. They're doomed for sure. Doom and gloom.
When you say doomed, what exactly is doomed?
Okay, so
you?
When I say doomed, I don't believe in eternal conscious torment in hell, right? So people understand. We don't subscribe to that idea of the afterlife.
So you don't subscribe to there being a heaven or a hell?
Yeah, so what heaven is, I just did a video on this. It's funny. So the Bible describes 4 heavens, right? You have the sky, you have where the stars are, you have where God lives, right? Which is like another realm. And then you have the kingdom of heaven, which is Christ's kingdom, which is on earth.
Which is the high, okay.
Which is on earth, right? So Christ's kingdom is on earth because it said he made us kings and priests that we may reign on earth, right? So the kingdom of heaven is what we are telling people is approaching, which is still here on earth, which is just a kingdom that Christ rules over and the Israelites rule over and everyone else is subject to. So similar to now how the white man is like the principal people on the earth, the richest and most powerful people on the earth. There's other people on the earth and they're doing their thing or whatever, but white people are clearly the number one people on the earth as far as power, economics, etc. Again, this doesn't mean other people don't have power, other people don't have money, etc. Things like that, but they're the principal people right now. In times past, other people were principal. What we're saying is Jesus and his people, which is us, are going to be principal. And when we're principal, those people, they're going to be in the situation that we're in now. That's what we mean by they're doomed. Their damnation is just switching places with us.
Pretty much you guys are going to be in power.
We're going to be in power. They're going to be at the bottom.
Do you believe that Jews control America? A lot of people do be saying that.
I think that they have some of the biggest influence for sure. 100%. For sure.
Do you think that, because why would they call themselves the Jews? That's what I want to get into.
Because that's God's chosen people. If you're going to steal any identity, why not the people that God chose?
But what benefits does it come with saying that I'm a Jew?
Well, what benefits it is...
Why would they do that is what I'm getting at.
The number one benefit, right? If we read in Deuteronomy 4, right? It's 4 or 6, where it says, it's 4, after Baal Peor. In Deuteronomy 4, God is telling us about these commandments that he's given us. And he says, when the other people hear about this, they're going to say, what a wise and understanding people, because of the commandments that they have, the customs that they have, right? Those laws that God gave us were made to inherently empower us as a people. So through them coming in and subverting our identity, they inherited those rules and regulations that God gave us that naturally empower us as a people. So now they're naturally empowered because they're practicing those laws. So not only do they get the perception of being the chosen, they get the guidebook that God gave the chosen. He was so gracious to give us. And through that, they're manifesting and empowering themselves. And we see where they are now as far as economically, as far as politically, etc.